Hello, welcome to my third video focusing on the Royal Guard unit from the Deuslair Kickstarters by Dungeons and Lasers. As you can see, I've constructed all 6 Royal Guards now. A few of them are wielding similar weapons or in similar poses. I did try to differentiate them quite a bit. For example, the one on the right has a halberd instead of the warhammer. The one in the front has actually got also a different shield as well. 2 heavies in the background with the great axes, just because I loved that pose so much. That weapon looks amazing. I did try to use some of the other weapons or make a mirror of the great axe, but I ended up not liking the pose as much. That being said, a lot of the details still pop on these, and it just looks absolutely amazing. I'm really excited about, painting them. I do have a color scheme in mind after looking at a bit of the concept art and reading about the Fortress of Deuslair. I do currently have them like blue tacked to the black stands, and that's because it's a lot easier for me to paint them if I'm able to maneuver them a bit more. And at the same time, I don't want to secure them to their bases yet, because I actually have to paint their bases and still cut out their bases. So yeah, I'm going to be my plan is to prime them today in white and then go through painting them. The colors that I'm using are probably going to be browns and tans for the leather, red for cloth, and I'm probably just going to go with a grey and an overbrush of silver for their armor. Okay. So stay tuned. So here I have my minis outside in a nice well-ventilated area. I'm wearing gloves. I have my Tamiya surface primer. So we're now going to prime the minis. When you're priming minis, make sure again that you're in a well-ventilated area. When you start spraying, you want to start before the mini and then have it pass over the mini. I move the mini around so that way I can get a nice good coverage. And there we have it. That is our first mini primed. Actually, no, it's our second mini. Okay. Third mini, just like the other one. Again, starting before it, rotating the mini slowly to make sure that we get nice, even coverage. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to finish the rest of these up, and then we'll get to the fun part, the actual painting. Now that the base coat has dried, it's finally time to start adding some colour to the minis. As mentioned before, I've come up with a little bit of a colour scheme. So what I'm going to be doing is all the areas here, or like the cloth, I'm going to be painting a red, a mix of 2 reds. I've got a darker red for the underparts and a brighter red to do the highlights and whatnot. I've never really done highlights before, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. The only paints that I currently have are the Army Painters D&D line, so these are the 2 that I'm going to be using. So yeah, hopefully they match well. They're both shades of red, so let's get to it. Loading up my brush with some paint. Now, I'm not very good when it comes to actually painting. So, as I mentioned previously, that's really the whole point of this channel. I want to try and improve my skills. Let's get rid of the base for the moment. Again, the reason why I had them on those temporary bases is because it just makes life a little bit easier. Oh. There we go. Slowly getting there. I am using a fine detail brush. I might switch to a larger brush later on. I really just want to make sure that I don't have a lot of spillage onto other areas. Let's see if I can readjust there a bit. Now, one of the good things, or one of the reasons why I started with this, the material part, is because my plan is, if I paint over like the belts and that, I can always simply go back and add them and redo them. So as you can see, there's like a bit of a border around there. I've gone over it on that side, so what I'll be doing is going back over it, maybe with a white later on. Actually, you know what? Let's just make the entire thing red. Not going to lie, I am finding it rather hard to paint on camera and keep everything in focus. I did thin the paints a little bit. Making sure that I get all under there. Doing several thin layers. I have just realized that this red is a lot brighter than what I had originally thought, meaning the one that I picked to do the highlights might not be enough. See, the part that I'm painting now, unfortunately, is actually mostly blocked by the shield anyway. Getting in there. Going to have to go especially around here a bit more. Yeah. I'll land in there. Okay. Here we have my first completed Royal Guard. I'm actually very happy with how it turned out. I still do need to add in the dark wash, especially on the red cloth, so that way it can really pull in and form those shadows. I changed my mind with regards to how I was going to do the armor. Originally, I was going to paint it grey and then do a dry brush of silver on top. Instead, I just opted to use a metallic silver from the get-go. And while that was the simpler option, I am actually really happy with the results, especially in this lighting. I did try and add in a little bit of red on his armor in order to pull the color scheme together a bit rather than just have one giant glob of silver on top. I added in, as you can see underneath there, a little bit of red on the filigree and design of the armor, as well as on his vambrace back here as well, just to tie things together. I'm about to start the second one. I've come to the realization that painting on camera is a lot more difficult, especially with how I like to hold the mini when I'm painting, and I'm going to need to rethink my setup. So I think for this video we're just going to have a few shots of them unpainted, and as we progress I'll have little updates here and there to show the progress, and then a few final shots at the end. But yeah, I hope that you're enjoying. I know I am. This has been a lot of fun. It is quite a different experience putting the miniature together, deciding what type of weapons they want to use, you want them to have, and things like that, and then painting it up. It honestly feels, it's going to sound really silly, but it feels a lot more fulfilling rather than just buying a pre-painted one. And yeah. So with that in mind, I'm going to continue painting, and yeah, you'll see a few shots here and there of my progress, and then looking forward to having a big reveal at the end. And here we have update number 2. I've got 3 out of the 6 Royal Guard units completed. I really am happy with the color scheme, and the reason why I have 2 of the heavy units, the ones with the great axes, completed is because that pose is the one that I clearly like the best. He just looks so intimidating with those massive great axes and the way he's just hulking, lumbering forward, about to cut down his enemies. These guys are serving as a benchmark for what I'm capable of at the start of my hobby journey. I'm looking at improving. I'm looking at what else I can do to these. So if there's any tips in the comments, please sound them out and let me know. I haven't gone with the wash yet. So these guys I'd probably say are about 95% done. They're what I'd consider to be table ready, but I really want to elevate it to the next level. Once I figure out what else I'm going to do, again, probably putting on that a dark wash to really deepen those shadows. I will be putting on a top coat just to make sure that it's not damaged, the paint doesn't get rubbed off and things like that. And yeah, I am looking forward to completing the unit as a whole. I'm not going to change up the color scheme too much. I think what I'm going to do next is try and pick out a few more of the details, like on their gauntlets and that. I've painted the cross that they've got there red to match the rest of their the rest of their color scheme. So I'll be looking at see if on the other minis, if there's any more embellishments that I can do that I can put on, and then I'll come back and fix these guys up afterwards. That being said, I have really enjoyed the painting process so far. I'm not sure what else I could really do to bring these guys up to the next level. So again, if there's any suggestions in the comments, please let me know. And yeah, let's go in for a closer look. So There we go. So here's my first one. My first heavy unit. I kind of went for almost like an Assassin's Creed Knights Templar kind of look. See, like up here on the helmet. That could do with a bit of a dark wash there to bring out those shadows and stuff. I did paint the inside for this like a skin color. I might have to go over and redo that, as it very clearly has not, like, the colors just the color seems to have drained out of it. It almost looks like a stark white. I wonder if on the other one it's done that as well. This one's a little bit better. But yeah, all up, the painting process was very, very enjoyable. I think because of the way the sculpts were, a lot of the detail still sticks out. Like you can see, on his van braces and stuff like that. The way I painted the cross and the insignia. Just because of how nice the sculpts were, I was able to do that. I could probably go over and maybe have the lines popping out a little bit more. But yeah, so far I have to say I'm enjoying the hobby. I can't wait to get the rest of these done, and yeah, I'll be able to show them all off and use them against my players.